everyone, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we're taking a look at Voyager class Starscream from Transformers Earthrise War for Cybertron trilogy. Pretty cool artwork here on the side of the box. Now you may be thinking to yourself, hey, we just got like a bunch of Seekers in Siege. Why are they already giving us Starscream in the first wave of Earthrise? Well, it is a new mold, kind of. It's definitely a completely different mold from the Siege Starscream. That was the what's the word I'm looking for? Just basically the triangular prism version of Starscream that we saw in that first More Than Meets the Eye three-parter that fans have been wanting for years. This is definitely a more traditional Starscream with the kind of jet that you see in G1. It's very similar, actually, to the original classic Starscream from the early 2000s. Early to mid 2000s, whenever that was. So it's kind of neat. They kind of took that mold, made some improvements, and then upscaled it to Voyager since it used to be deluxe. Originally, I wasn't going to pick this up because I was like, well, I already have all those classics molds. You know, I don't really need just the same toy, but upscaled. But I will say I've seen some things about this online. They have made some improvements, and I think it really looks nice. And really, Starscream does deserve to be a Voyager rather than a deluxe, if we're being honest. And I just think in the long run, this is going to be the better toy. Plus, it's an updated version of a mold from over 10 years ago. It's not like it's an updated mold of something from last year. So I don't feel that bad about picking this up. But again, love the packaging, love the artwork on the sides. On the back, you can see robot mode, vehicle mode, top, bottom. Let's go ahead, let's get Starscream out of the packaging, and we'll take a closer look. Alright, so here is Starscream out of the packaging. And I gotta say, I kind of feel like this is the closest you can get to a Masterpiece Starscream while paying only $30. And that may be a bold statement to make, but it's a really good figure. Like, I'm really glad I decided to pick it up. There's definitely some improvements over the original. Unfortunately, I don't have the original handy. I mean, it's been packed away for so many years at this point, but from what I can remember, the original had those like spring-loaded cannons with the missiles, so they went much longer. And I think just these like standard, you know, plastic molded like null ray cannons look much better. I think that's a much better idea. They look more in scale with the arm. I think it looks really nice. You, of course, have ankle tilt, what the original did not have, because everything since Siege has to have ankle tilt. He doesn't have any battle damage or anything like that. I know the original didn't have that either, but Earthrise is getting away from that. Siege had all that battle damage, and I'm very glad that they decided not to carry that over for Earthrise. Another thing, he's got a bend here in the wings, so the original did not have that. They went straight across, which also looks good, but if you do like a little bit of a swept back wing look, you do have that option that was not present in the original. The fuselage hanging on the back is very, very similar to the original. The arms do transform a little differently. We'll get there. Instead of the legs, again, this is another transformation detail, but these could just kind of pushed in, and instead they kind of open up and fold up like a Combiner Wars leg, something like that, which I think works a little bit better. But yeah, he's a really good looking figure. I mean, the paint applications are all bright, look really good. I love all the blue, the red and the white, all very, very good. Face sculpt, I think, looks very good. It's kind of hard to see, honestly, just because he's got kind of a crest as far as his helmet goes, but the head's all molded very nicely. Let me see if I can find my little light source. There you go. You can kind of see the face there a little bit better. It's easy to get cast in shadow, but nice red eyes, silver painted face. All looks really, really good. I like that quite a bit. Head is on a ball joint, so you have up and down as well as side to side. You have rotation here in the shoulders as well as a hinge. Bicep swivel 90 degrees in the elbow joint. The wrist doesn't move because of how it transforms. You have a joint here in the hip that can go out to the side as well as front to back. Mine are really tight, but I think it's just because they're new. You do have a thigh swivel, you have 90 degrees in the knee, and then of course you have that ankle tilt. So you do also have that wing movement that I talked about earlier. And of course he's got the ports all over, one here, some on the back underneath the wings. If you wanted to do something here, you could peg something in back here as well. So he's got plenty of pegs for Battle Masters, Weaponizers, Micromaster bases, whatever you want to do. But yeah, he's really nice. You can see some really nice red paint here. It almost looks like it's a little thick, but it's like just shy of being a little thick. Like you can tell it's definitely painted, but it looks nice and sharp and shiny, and I really like it a lot. Yeah, it's just a really good, solid robot mode. I like it quite a bit. But let's go ahead and check out that transformation. Alright, so first thing you're going to do, go ahead and remove the null ray cannons. Just kind of place them off to the side. So first thing we're going to do, transform the arms. And you can see how these are quite different from the original. I believe, and again, it's been a minute, but I think the original, like the hands kind of went like this, and then they kind of just like went up and went in like that. And it's similar to that, but it's a little bit more intricate. So this opens up, and you can see how the normal elbow joint is kind of made of two pieces here. So this is going to go down like this. This piece here is going to go in here where the fist was inserted. So this is going to come in. Then this will go underneath here. You can see how that wrist piece comes through here. And then you close this up like this. Just like that. So it's a little weird. And when I was first trying to figure it out, it was definitely a little wonky. But the more times you do it, the easier it gets. So you kind of lift these up, bring this in, make sure that that fits in there, that closes up, and then all of that goes like that. And so then you can bring these back down, and he's got very tiny little arms now. The next thing you're going to do is open up this chest. Now you have to kind of, you can see how there's kind of these clips. And I don't remember the original having clips. I think it just kind of went up and just stayed by friction. But you kind of want to be a little careful with these clips, because I feel like over time they could bend or break or just kind of stretch out, and then it would lose the friction. But you're going to pull this down, and this whole back section, really this doesn't move. It's the back section that folds backwards. This pretty much stays where it is. But you're going to come to here. You're going to take the nose cone fuselage piece, bring this up, and it's going to snap over top of the head, just like the original toy. This is going to pop out, rotate around 180 degrees, and then come back around and pop up here, exactly like that original Classics toy. That's exactly how that transformed. And then you're going to fold these in again, exactly like that original Classics toy. And then you're going to close this up. There you go. And now your whole torso section is done. You're going to come down here. This is a little different, and I think this is kind of ingenious. So since you have the ankle tilt going on, you're going to ankle tilt down. You're going to rotate this up like that. And then you can see how there's a little tab right there. That's going to tab in right there. So once then you just collapse the ankle tilt back down. That pegs in, fold down the wing, and then you just close up this foot piece. I think that's kind of ingenious. It's very simple, but it works really well. Bring this up, tab that in, flip that down, close that up. Then you're going to take the 2 feet and put them together. They're going to tab together right there. You're going to open these up like so. And you can see that there was a tab here that was tabbed into there. That keeps it together in robot mode. You're going to bend this down, and you can see there's 2 tab slots right there, which are going to tab in right there. This can be a little tricky, just lining it up and making sure that it all really pegs in. And then you're going to lift this up so you can close these, and then you're going to put it back down. And there you go. That is the back piece all done. Last thing there is to do is, if you had these bent, just straighten them out. You're going to see how this is going to fold down very similarly to the original toy. Now there are little tabs right here, and there are spots on the wing here for that all to kind of tab in. So you can see there's also a nub right here, and then there is a little nubbin right there. So this is going to come down, and then all those nubs are just going to kind of line up. Now, unfortunately, it has a tendency to pop this off because kind of the slightest, like the nubs make this jar a little bit, and as soon as it does, it pops right off. I think it's a safety thing. They didn't want it to break, so they made it easy to pop off. It's not a big deal. If it does pop up, you just pop it right back on, make sure the nubs all line up, and then there you go. So do this again. Make sure these go up. I don't know if I've ever done this without. You can always pop it a little bit, but you just kind of line it up and then make sure it pops in. Again, it's not really a big deal. If anything, it makes it easier to line up. I think they just wanted to make sure nothing broke. And there you go. There is your jet mode. It looks fantastic. Oh, I almost forgot. Bring those null ray cannons back in and peg them underneath. I mean, if you wanted to peg in Battle Masters or Weaponizers or something instead, you certainly could. All those ports are the same. You can see them here on the side of the arm, on the side of the leg, up top, underneath here, where those pegged in. So, but yeah, it's a really nice looking jet mode, and I really like how you can see the cockpit in the jet. You can't open it to put anything in there, but you can see the chair, you can see the cockpit. That's really sharp. That translucent orange is great. I kind of wish the Decepticon symbols were a little bit bigger. Just a little bit. Not a huge problem. It's certainly a minor complaint. Just an aesthetic thing. I wish they were a little bit bigger. Maybe put them in these little squares right here or something so you could be a little bit bigger. But that's really it. That's like and that's a nitpick. That's not even a real complaint. That's a minor thing. That's just an aesthetic that I personally wish they were a little bigger. But this is a great looking jet mode. It doesn't have any landing gear. Some people might be looking for landing gear. And no, before you ask, I thought maybe this piece came down. That's actually what holds those two pieces together. So it hides the head. But yeah, there's no it almost looks like landing gear piece could peg in there, but they don't give you one. So you don't really need it though. Honestly, if you sit this here, it's not going anywhere. It can land like that perfectly fine. So I'm happy with it. I'm really, really happy with it. To the point that I'll, eat my words. And if they do all the Seekers, I may bite. I may bite and get all 3 Seekers because this is a really nice mold. Even though I already have all 3 Seekers in the smaller Classics mold, this is really nice and really sharp. I think it would really depend on the paint jobs they give them. As long as they give them really nice paint jobs, I think I would definitely go for all 3 Seekers. I'm really curious if they'll do cone heads, since we also saw the cone heads in the original Classics line from this mold. And I think one of the packages shows the cone heads, actually. If I remember one of the murals or something. I thought somebody reported on that. Maybe it's the new packaging. I don't remember. Somebody's packaging from Toy Fair or something showed the cone heads like very small off in the corner in the artwork, like those murals they do. So it's very possible we may get them. But yeah, this is a absolutely fantastic jet mode. I think Starscream is absolutely fantastic. I know I said originally when this was announced, oh, I'm not getting that. It's too close to the original Classics mold, and some people might think the same. It's worth taking a look at. There have been a couple improvements that I think really make a difference to really perfect this figure, and I really do think this is kind of as close as you can get to a masterpiece while spending $30. Obviously, there are other masterpiece figures and things like that out there, but he's just really, really good. And if they decide to do cone heads, other Seekers, things like that, I very well might continue to buy this mold, because I feel like this could probably be the last Starscream you need to buy. I mean, depending on, what they do in the future, stylized versions, different TV shows and whatnot. But as far as like a Classics G1 Starscream, I think this is pretty much it. I don't really think you need to look much else. It's in scale with Megatron. It's about the right size. The color scheme's great. The paint applications, the transformation's fun and easy, but also really, really good. This might be the perfect Starscream figure. I'm just going to say it. I definitely recommend picking up at least Starscream if you were like the way... Basically, if you're of like mind where I was originally, and you're thinking to yourself, but it's just an upscaled classic mold. It kind of is. You're not wrong. but there have definitely been some improvements, and I definitely think it's worth grabbing at least Starscream. If you don't want to go all in for all the Seekers and Coneheads and whatever they end up doing, I get it. I think that's fair. But at the same time, I think you owe it to yourself to at least get Starscream. He's the most popular Seeker character. He looks great, and they really did. Once you have this mold in hand, I think you'll realize that it is definitely better than the original Classics mold. So that'll do it for this one. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks so much for watching.